Okay, so it's 5 o'clock, should be. Yep, or as we like to say, 1700 on Tuesday, the 25th of August. This is week one of your fall first session. And let me adjust this a little bit. Forgive some of the mess behind me. The first up front, I need to apologize. When I looked at the weekly assignment sheet today, I saw that I was already in September. So I lost a week in there, and I'm used to having a week off between classes. And since we've gone to the 8-week format, that is no longer the case. That coupled with getting the contract late, and I don't usually set up the class unless I've been given a contract, which I think most of you would certainly understand as commonsensical. It's been a bit of a challenge. So I appreciate everybody's patience and flexibility. All right. So, but we're here and we're tracking. It looks like we have a small class, 7 of you. Tom Beasley, Landon Elliott. No, I'm sorry, this is the wrong class. I apologize there. I'm already out to lunch. All right. Still considered a small class. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 students. Class size minimum of 10. So good for you, not so good for me. Because we get paid on attendance and how many there are of you, not how many grades we hand out, contrary to popular belief. And I'm just kidding there. Okay, so let's take a look. We got Andrew Avarillo. I hope I said that right. Avarillo, maybe. Kiera Cherry. Rhonda Dilda. Or is it Dilday? Okay. Stacy Floyd. Timothy Messer. Erica Moore. Jasmine Pinter. Robert Strickland. And Elizabeth Van Hooser. Okay, I recognize a few of these names. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Long day of work. If you come to these Zoom sessions, we're going to be informal. All right? So feel free to bring a drink. Get up as you need to. Do whatever you need to do. This is your time. I'll go ahead and talk for about 30 minutes. I'll cover some things that are already in Moodle, that are already in the written instructions. There's really nothing new in what I say. I just tend to reinforce some things. I know it's a lot of reading. It's a lot of information. That said, that is the product of a few years of doing this. I've been teaching adjunct now for the University of Mount Olive since 2014. So this is my 6th, going on 7th year. And I've been teaching adjunct at the university, at Marine Corps University, in their College of Distance Education and Training, which handles their distance learning for officers, specifically the Expeditionary Warfare School, which is a mid-level course for captains typically, those with about 10 years in. And then, well, a little less than, usually about 5, I guess. And then Command and Staff, which is an intermediate level school designed typically for majors. Anyway, the requirement is you have to take the course in the Marine Corps. Not everybody is lucky enough to get to the resident course, where you get paid to go to school, which is a phenomenal deal if you get it. Of course, you better make good grades because you're getting paid to go to school. All right. So having said all that, 4 of you, Rhonda, Stacy, Erica, and Jasmine, have done a great job in already coming in and accepting the syllabus. That is, or perhaps was, a requirement by the University of Mount Olive. Excuse me, I got some information today that I'm going to have to go back to the dean and ask. Is that, in fact, what he meant to say? That we didn't have, there's a different way that they understand that you've accepted the syllabus. I don't know what that could be. But whatever it is, it's confused me. So here in week 1, 24 August to 30 August. So yeah, yesterday was the first day, 24th of August. We're going to go all the way to, hey, here's a new feature on Moodle. In case you notice, the layout's different. But in the upper environs, I don't have it set up on my screen, but it'll drop you down to wherever it is that you want to go. Yeah, anyway, I don't have it set though. But anyway, so let's shoot on down there to yeah, your table of contents. This normally is up here in the upper right-hand corner, depending on how your screen is set up and how you like it. And so what this is new, what this allows is you get to jump down to that week. Pretty handy, huh? And then a whole lot of student resources for you. Sorry, I just, I'm doing bright silver object here to you. Bright shiny object. And here is a section, Meet Your Professor. Okay. This is me. If you go back to the top, you'll see a section under the syllabus and announcements that says information about your instructor. That's the more curriculum vitae and like. But which basically and so that to say to the top of the page. Pretty handy. So 18 October, and your second of 2 papers is due. We had a paper. I'm sorry, not change. Correction. Personal innovation paper that's due, and that's yeah, week. And okay, so the difference is in week 2 or 3, you're going to be with an organization that you're going to want to write on. Okay, that could be business, that could be a nonprofit, it could be a church, that could be your own LLC, it could be whatever, it could be your classmates. It's whatever organization that you feel compelled to cover in your paper. And this is a study. Okay, and we look here. This is what I'm saying. Sorry, you have actually definition of innovation. I'm going to tell you right now on this table here. It's important to remember. You're going to define something in your paper. The best definition to use is the one from your textbook. I'll say it again. If you're going to bring definitions or terms, concepts and the like into your paper, the best resource to use for your grade is from your textbook. Just think about it. These are marked requirements. These are areas that we are assessing how you mastered the learning objectives. The learning objectives are obviously tied to what is covered in the course. So we're going to test you on what's covered in the course. I know that sounds commonsensical. Bear with me. So in the paper, we want to see you use concepts, definitions, terminology that we've covered in the course. Okay? If you want the course and introduce new terminology, new definitions, then how do I grade you on how well you mastered the objectives of what's been covered in the course? Okay, so it's a rhetorical question. And so the key to it is use text. Acceptance of innovation for organizations, that's life cycle theory. We'll talk about that in a couple weeks. Explanation of how innovation enhances an organization's success. Remember, conflict and innovation are very much similar. They are essentially life's results, and it is one to be embraced, not feared. So try to open up an organization innovation. It's striking how many organizations say they like innovation and yet do everything in their power to supplant it or otherwise knock it down. Anyway, be that as may, the final piece here is explain the importance of leadership in organizations relative to innovation. Again, this course is titled Leading Innovation. Now, you're going to note that your textbook kind of throws us a curveball, doesn't it? Because your textbook is titled Managing Innovation and Entrepreneurship in Organizations. Okay, so in week 1, we're going to down and go to week 5, whatever. We'll see the question. So from that aspect, when kind of keep ahead, go for it. But in this case, week 1 really doesn't require you to have a textbook. In the old 5 weeks, I did that because a lot of people would come late with the text. So it was good to give them a couple questions up front, at least week 1 questions, where they didn't have to worry. Okay? But here's the answer up front. In your view, is the difference between the terms management and leadership. Now, for those of you that have had me before, you've seen this question. If you had me for LDR 300, if you had me for 400, if you had me for 360, like now, not an example. Let's try. Sorry, let me try that. Again, 440, you'll note that I like asking this question. Okay, and I ask it a lot. It's funny because a lot of folks just don't pick up on it. They answer a question and move on, and I know sometimes if they've even really noticed, they've answered the same question, 5 separate different ways. For those of you that had me before, you've already seen my response on this and what I'm trying to get you to consider. And that is, there is no practical way of separating leadership and management. They don't mean the same thing, but they're very synonymous. They do go together. This isn't an exercise in semantics. It's an idea in which you kind of frame out what it is we're really doing. Why the distinction between management and leadership? And in a gut level, there's a difference. It just makes sense. It just sounds different. Management has connotation of somebody making sure that there's order and things are done a certain way and they aren't going to change. And it may or may not be their motivation. Leadership, on the other hand, indicates an ability to drive an organization, an ability to bring in motivation, an ability to energize, and maybe a little bit more oriented on other things than bottom line, at least in certain aspects. Okay, this is where you see where you would try to find risk takers. Where would you find them? Okay, management or leadership? Anyway, just something to consider. I'll see your views on it. I will provide some responses. The responses typically come a few days later after I've given a chance for you all to do your bits. Okay, I want to see you participating with each other, and I'd like to try to get you away from, hey, great, I completely agree. There's nothing wrong with complimenting somebody on their post, and if you really believe it's great and you agree, let's so state. But let's make our feedback a little bit more on point and a little bit more useful, and try to bring in concepts that person may want to consider, ideas, aspects that you've thought of that perhaps he or she that you're posting on hasn't. Okay, but this is kind of the classroom environment. Okay, and I appreciate the challenge of online. Believe it or not, I'm not a big fan of. I would rather have you in a classroom, seated, and each and every one of us able to reach out and touch that person if need be. Having said that, there's nothing wrong with online when executed the right way. And in that aspect, it requires a little bit more from the student. The fact that you are all adults, leads me to believe that there's no reason that can't happen. You are paying good money to be here. You expect a return on your investment. Okay, I tell people sometimes education to me is the one industry that the customer really doesn't want their money's worth. I run in too many that say they're here for an education when they're really here is to get just a piece of paper to hang on the wall. Now, to get a degree, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, that's called cooperate to graduate. Okay, and there's no reason to diminish the effort and the accolades of that situation in life. What I am driving at, though, is that if you're truly here for an education, then let's go for it. Let's dig into it. Let's really get into the meat. And that requires study on your part and involvement. Now, for me, I'm here either way. Okay, my time is already your time. If you want to just kind of scratch the surface and nuzzle around a little bit and just kind of make some platitudes, then we can do that. Or if you really want to get engaged and get into the material and get to the point where we kind of push our comfort zones, okay, remember LDR 300, then let's go for it. Okay, let's do it. In the end, let's make sure we have some fun with it, okay? All right. Now, we couple that discussion, that's separate. Then also understand each week you have an assignment to work. Basically, a scenario is given, okay? That scenario is an organization, in this case, Facebook. Here's what I'm after. A brief description of the scenario. Should be very brief. I've read the scenario, okay? So you're writing your analysis to me. So don't take all of your time and effort in regurgitating starting the text, okay? Then look at the second part here. What are you expected to talk about? Main points concerning not Facebook, but concerning innovation that are specific to the concept study in the chapter. In other words, each chapter has certain concepts. Apply those concepts to the organization you're writing on. Okay? So when you get to the third question, how is the material applicable to the student's career? What we're after here is how those points concerning innovation that were specific to the chapter you read, not whether or not you use Facebook in your career. Do you see what I'm at here? What happens, don't trap a lot of other students that think I want to hear how they're going to use the organization specific. That's not what it's after. What's after is this is an organization that hopefully demonstrates the image concepts that are covered in your text, that you're able to pull those out and identify. Okay, and then how do those innovation concepts apply to you in your career? Okay, and how are they applied in the company, successfully or non-successfully? Okay, and if I bring the scenario current, okay, in other words, there's probably something going on here since the text was written that has happened in the company that may reinforce or detract from your point. Okay, it may be a very fluffy article, and we're saying in the text that Facebook is highly innovative and is great. It's never. Who would have thought of this? And maybe something in the last year or two has happened. It's a little dark. It's a little. Kind of makes us pause and wonder, is this really a good organization or not? Okay, don't sweat this too much. Make sure you understand that. I give you 550 words in length. More, you're probably going to need a little more. I don't grade on word count. I don't grade on pages. If you can make it take all of this using brevity and soul of wit, and you do all that in one page in less than 500 words, go for it. Just make sure you make all the points and are convincing. And on the other hand, if it takes you, 15 pages to points in, then go for it. Now, make sure you're telling me something and not just filling it with space. Okay, there's no additional grade for more pages added to an argument. Okay, so here we get in the art. Here's where it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be important for you and I to get on the same sheet early. I'll let you know, and hopefully you'll pick up quickly. Those of you that have it before, understand this in many aspects, I think. Okay, and the key on it is we'll feel each other out in the sense of, obviously I'm not being literal, the what the expectations are, okay, and how to get those. And I start to learn how you rate based on how you talk. You're going to find that I'm a stickler for certain things. I am not an English major. Having said that, I do correct English errors. I have read the latest APA. I read it cover to cover, which was brutal but informative. There's some points in there that I forgot or I violated, so it's kind of good to go through it again. But in the end, we're going to want to make sure that we understand what the questions were, what the company does, and how can we apply these concepts and these aspects. Now, a lot of it is just simply find out what I look for. A lot of this is just me, make sure I understand what's right, and when you write a certain phrase, what you mean, okay? And that'll we'll make it. Okay? All right. You'll have yeah, you can find you don't have 3-5. In fact, you're struggling to find one. I'm probably gonna walk away from it because you know what you're talking about. See what I'm doing. So, throughout this course, throughout your time here at University of Maryland, you've been exposed to how to prepare a thesis statement, how to write a position statement. Okay, say, all right, and in a position statement, you are answering a question, you are taking a stand, you are providing a yes or no to a lifelong dilemma. But it doesn't stop there. Okay, so you say, I am an effective leader. Good on you. Now, why? Why did you say that? In other words, show me your evidence. Okay, that's where the 3-5 rule comes in. 3 to 5 reasons you said that. 3 to 5 reasons, pieces of evidence support your statement that says, I am an effective leader. Okay, it could be, I'm an effective leader because I can see through shady crust pizza and order the right dinner and get it to the right classroom so that Val and I can meet. We have no problems. Okay. All right. So do that. And you got 2 tied into one scenario. Local motor and industry distillery. Fascinating. His way to develop innovation leadership paper is due, worth 30% of your has to be uploaded to Moodle. Okay, all work that you do at University of Mount Olive that gets graded must be in Moodle. Okay, the only person that can upload it into Moodle is you, which makes sense. Why would you give somebody the power to upload something and then grade it without me? Okay, so in the end, if you're late on something and University of Mount Olive policy is, excuse me a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. University of Mount Olive policy is there's no lay work accepted. Okay, these are assignments that are made. These are the timelines. You've read about them. You've accepted them in the syllabus. You know about them, so produce on them. That said, the dean recognizes that life happens and that certain exigencies pop up that derail us, each and every one of us. So he's allowed or she's allowed the adjunct professor some latitude and ability, if you will, to work with you on an assignment that wasn't turned in on time. That said, there may be a slight penalty assessed. There may not. It depends a lot on what the circumstance was and why. Okay. But in the end, if most of the students are getting their work in on time and are making sacrifices in order to do that, and somebody else doesn't make that same sacrifice, enjoys some time off that everybody else would have taken, and then comes in late expecting a full grade, well, that doesn't sound very partial or fair to the person who lost out on a lot of fun. So what we do is I may assess a slight penalty. In other words, it's not as good deal being able to turn something in late as you might thought. Okay, but again, you and I will talk about that further. The key on it is try to make your timelines. Okay. All right, and week 8. Okay, I'm going to give you a supplemental reading. Probably one of the best articles that's ever been published. Management Time, Who's Got the Monkey? Again, not anything to worry about. Who's Got the Monkey was written by Harvard Business Review, or entered in Harvard Business Review years ago, but the lesson still is as valid as it was in its day. And so you're going to read that, and then you have we go back and take a look at Xerox. Okay, that'd be a fun one. Take a look at. Okay. All right, so I've talked about 40 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and probably let you go. I think we've got this pretty well nailed. Let's take a look at what we have as far as the attendance expectations. As we go in with the attendance expectations, you need to understand that it's not just showing up, it's also participating. And participation is more than just signing in. It's ensuring that you've actually said something and entered into the classroom discussions. Okay. All right. So week 1 by 9 o'clock, 2100 tonight. I'd like you to make sure you accept the syllabus by indicating so on the portion of Moodle that I'm at right now. Let's take a look at again, I apologize for the slow computer. Okay, no one other than the 4 put in, so good. All right.